All right, guys, we got this figured out. I definitely I gotta get a webcam set up. I actually have all like old Elgato and streaming stuff for gaming, so hopefully I'll be able to put some of that together. Hopefully, you guys are staying safe and well. It's been kind of cool to get the time to come back to YouTube. It definitely has been a while since I've been able to make content, and a lot of things have changed. I would say over the years, a lot of people may or may not know or forget that I started making videos when I was 17. I'm 27 now, so I've seen things come and go. And right now, being able to kind of set up this Discord and Patreon, I think, starting to get me to a point where I can really focus on making the kind of content that I would like. So if there's any issues with the stream, just let me know. I don't think there will be. I'm assuming I think I got everything good to go here. Um, if you guys are not coming over from the Discord, I'm like super amazed with kind of the response. We're almost at 900 members, which is kind of crazy. And then there's some awesome stuff going on in the networking section. So seeing you guys kind of connect, talk about things you're passionate about, and that's really something that I'm proud about when it comes to when I think about like a legacy, I guess I've left from YouTube is seeing the people that have kind of stuck with me for a while, and I'm a lot happier to have the group that's going on in Discord. I am with sub count or anything like that. So I know if you guys just join, I promise I will fix the. I'm going to buy an actual webcam because we're still rocking my 2015 MacBook Pro, which in my opinion is one of the best MacBooks ever made. So Northwest Silver. Andy wants to know if I still have my Dornbecker collection. I do not. I downsized huge when I had moved from Boston down to Rhode Island. It just was not feasible for me to kind of keep lugging things around. And I actually sold most of my sneaker collection to fund a business at that time. So I do miss it. But I got to enjoy and wear those sneakers. I was never someone that collected and just like let them sit in a box and never wore them. So, I got to enjoy them, which was great. So Northwest, I'll get to your questions in the live chat if you guys want. I am going to put on some. Oh man, damn, they're just all they're all flying. I'll get to these first, I guess. Any thoughts about gold investing in Bitcoin? Gold's kind of interesting because even the gold contracts that are traded, it's hard to know exactly. In my opinion, there's a lot more gold being traded on paper than there actually is. So physical gold and hold that instead of holding contracts might be a good idea, but long term, who's to say? I mean, if we're really in an economic situation where we're on like a barter or gold society standard, it's not good. You know what I mean? It's going to be irrelevant how many dollars gold's worth, in my opinion. Bitcoin, it's hard to say too. I think when the federal government started regulating and taxing it here, I personally divested from it because the whole point of Bitcoin, in my eyes, was to not have it be regulated. So when Coinbase and they started tying stuff to Social Security numbers, I exited. So, favorite shoe that I own right now, Marley? That's a good question. I really like the Pagala Air Force Ones I had, but I've also been wearing these Birkenstocks a ton. It just depends what I'm rotating. For Timothy Curtis, I have a lot. I have a couple originals that are behind me. One of the questions was on alternate investments, so I've still bought some watches and art. Have been really what I've held on to, but the original behind me, I won't say what I paid for it. I bought it direct from him, but I wouldn't even be able to touch the pricing that they're asking now at the gallery. So those have been pretty good. So when it comes to collecting art, my advice would be at the end of the day, make sure that you like what you have because it's purely speculative. Now, there's some things. One of my friends, his family actually loaned a ton of artwork to the Smithsonian Art Museum. His family owns a crazy amount of African American artwork, just like, I don't know exactly what the genre is. Also, he's African American too. So it's not like just some like white person monopolizing art. But what he said his parents did is there's just like a signature thing you'd see from an artist where, when you saw it, you knew, which is kind of hard to explain. But like this Timothy Curtis styling, like that's distinctive to him. That's a calling card. It's not like someone rehashing stuff. I don't like Alec Monopoly stuff, that sort of stuff. The things where it's just kind of like parody of pop culture. To me, that's not as thoughtful as some of the things. So, what up, Tom? Good to see you, homie. So as advice, try to come up on stuff. You know, In front of me, I have a woven tapestry from this woman, Erin Riley, and I sold. I was getting ready to buy another house, so I listed one of her artwork, her pieces. I paid like $300 for. I put it up on eBay for like 3 grand, and her gallery actually bought it from me because they didn't want her artwork on eBay. So they cashed me out 3 Gs, and I paid $300 for it. So, and I still have one of her bigger tapestries that I enjoy, every day. So, you get lucky with art. At the end of the day, though, make sure that you like what you're doing, and if you can get it for retail, MSRP direct, that's usually a good thing because it starts getting mad shady if you get into auction houses and galleries. So, um, cards under cost. That's something that I'm going to launch pretty soon here. I actually just got back a logo design where I think we got something lost in translation because it should not have been as hard as the designer's making it out to be. So I'm going to kind of put that in rice and start over. But yeah, man, I mean, I think collectibles is something I'd like to get into. I actually accidentally tweeted something that had TCG cards on it for baseball. I didn't mean to tweet it from Kicks Under Cost. I meant to just tweet it from my personal. And I could see from sales, like I ripped like maybe like 150 packs, and the tweet was up for like 3 minutes. So the audience I have on Kicks Under Cost, I get a lot of Barstool sports guys over there. So my audience is pretty good for it. And I think I could come up with a really good way for helping people get stuff under retail when it comes to that niche. So I'm excited, but I'm taking it slow for right now. So any business plans for when economy opens back up fully after COVID? Right now the businesses that I own are pretty COVID-19 proof now. Obviously, I own real estate, but I don't do the Airbnb thing. I do long-term rentals. I know my tenants' names. It's not like Slumdog Millionaire, that sort of thing, or Slumlord. I'm not Slumdog Millionaires, the movie. And my other business for Kicks Under Cost, Close Under Cost, those are still online. I haven't been able to, haven't had to drop any employee benefits. My company pays 100% health insurance. We got Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, like the top tier plan. Haven't had to do any of that. And then my company out in Chicago that does augmented reality, so adding like a physicality to an e-commerce experience, ended up being way more relevant than ever with COVID-19. So my business plans aren't really changing, but I am always thinking about how I can be mindful of other people's situations while I'm running my businesses, and make sure that we're taking care of our employees as best as possible. Because the company out in Chicago, I think we're up to like 5 or 6 employees now, so that's good. I'm doing keto, by the way, so this is like me weaning myself off of it. It's a sugar-free Gatorade, so. Um, Machete PR says, join on Discord. So far, more resellers on there, but wondering if yeah, so there are other channels. So, like, if you're just watching this from YouTube, so I started the Discord. I also started the Patreon because, and I'm not saying this like to be full of myself, because I think I'm very humble. And if you've ever emailed me about something or messaged me, I really do get back to everyone. But it started getting to the point where people were asking me to kind of consult for them, and how much it would cost for my time. And I could not really think of a way to work consulting and teaching into my schedule. And also, so building stuff from Patreon was kind of a good way to do that, because now I have the Discord, which is general, and then there's also a private Discord within that service, so private topics where I can kind of give one-on-one advice, or we can kind of like crowdsource issues or things they're going through on that. So like Patreon, like my big thing is I really don't want people to have to pay for something. Um, I, I really, really struggled with this. Like Patreon's not something I haven't thought of before. I've been aware of it for quite some time. But at the same time, given how many messages and stuff I have, I felt that if I could put up something where, for $5, which more or less is the price of, a cup of coffee, that kind of paywall, I think, signals that, like, hey, I'm serious about my inquiry, and I appreciate your time for it. And obviously I've been giving out my time for free, and I still will. But this definitely helps organize it, and I think it's going to be a cool little experiment. So tomorrow, things refresh. I know some people paid earlier in the month, so I've added some stuff to them to kind of make up for the double billing cycle. So May 1st is a good time to start for that. So What happened to Come Up Store? Really nothing. The problem is all the thrift stores closed right now, so it's hard to really do inventory. And then people, when it comes to discretionary spending, aren't doing as much vintage buying and selling. The store's still active, obviously, but the stores are all closed. So Anthony says, "What do you think will happen in the real estate market with high unemployment rates?" It's hard to see. I do think the Airbnb crumbling is going to be interesting because it definitely has overinflated rents in a certain sense, because housing that should be for long-term rents for people that live here, that are now for like temporary short-term rents. Rhode Island, it's not really a thing. Airbnb is not a thing. Can you be? Hey, hey, shh, shh, shh. Oh boy, Basil's joining the chat. Um, I had the most vocal cat I've ever experienced in my entire life. But in Rhode Island, it's not that big of a thing. But if you look at like Boston, I know New York kind of and Airbnb, but other places, people are short term renting stuff in markets where there's tons of hotels. So I've personally never liked Airbnb. Airbnb, when it first started, was meant to be, hey, I'm going to be away for a couple weeks and like having flexibility to make some extra income if you are traveling or something else. And it kind of developed into people making whole on, housing, buying homes solely for that purpose. And I think that's really the greed and money is kind of what took away from kind of like this like lighthearted, altruistic kind of way of like sharing spaces for cheap and like I don't know that. So I think depending on market, you're going to see a big single family housing correction. Multifamily units, I can't see multifamily units going on sale. A lot of the times, those are already self sufficient based on supporting the mortgages, or the owners already own so much of it that I can't imagine them defaulting on their mortgages. Now, a lot of people have talked about paying no rent and also deferring mortgages. The thing with that is, like, let's say your landlord defers their mortgage, they still have to pay it at the end. So it's not like like let's say at the end of 6 months, all 6 months are due at the end of 6 months. It's not like they tack on another 6 months to the length of your loan. It's like all that's due at the end, and then they start doing like clauses in your mortgage to accelerate some of the interest thing. So what I love to see the federal government do is kind of step in on these mortgage companies so landlords can subsidize their tenant rents a little bit better. But a lot of people have misinformation about that. So when you first bought your multi-house, was it a multi-family or single family? It was a multi-family. So I owner occupy this one. Owner occupying is great because I have two tenants above me, and I'm able to kind of have a really good relationship with them and be present as a landlord. And it's helped a lot with paying down the house and making that a sustainable decision. Now, you don't have to have tenants to purchase a home. The biggest thing for me was looking at how much I was spending on rent, and then looking at what a comparable mortgage would be. And anytime you can build equity in a home, it's way better than paying someone else rent. Now, obviously, people rent for all kinds of different reasons. Some people like having flexibility. Some people don't want to own a home. They'd rather not have the headache because, trust me, the amount of money I probably put into this house fixing it is, I'm way in the hole in terms of any rental income I've made. But it makes sense. You know what I mean? Long term, in my opinion. And I can explain that in way more detail on the Discord. And I plan on doing those like super in depth kind of like teaching things there. And that's really where I want to have the Patreon be there, because this YouTube channel has been traditionally sneakers. I still love sneakers and clothing. I'm still super involved in sneakers and clothing. But for people that are interested in these niches, I'm happy to kind of them. So how do I like the Xbox Elite controller? I love it. I'm only using two paddles right now with it, so I'm going to try to put in another two to kind of do it. But man, it's like, because for the longest time, I'd be playing these games, dude be jumping around the corner, shooting me, aiming, and I'd be like, how are they doing that? Like, and now I'm on that wave, so it's like I'm jumping around the corner, just like slamming someone. It's great. How do you prioritize your business with so much going on? So I hire people and collaborate. That's a big thing. Hiring great employees and collaborating with awesome people. That's what really balances it out. I might have to grind a year and a half in the business where I'm doing everything to the point where I know how to start, dictating some of the stuff that needs to get done and kind of pass those responsibilities. Once I get something to a point where it's running and I can have someone come in and kind of repeat the processes that I'm doing every day, it's a home run. On to the next. PC gaming, I have no thoughts. I don't own a PC. So best place to sell Elite controllers, I moved them all on eBay. In the Discord right now, there's actually a little eBay hack on promoted listings and kind of manipulating shipping costs to help you with promoted listing fees and still get the end goal of the price you want. So that's over there. So Tom says, I'm sort of over the sneaker videos, want to pivot into business videos. Thoughts from all of you on how to keep my audience engaged. It's obviously tough. I mean, dude, I had some people say that my channel's dead. I remember when I started making videos getting 100 views, I thought that was cool. You know what I mean? A video gets 4,000 views. I just filled up a stadium of people near me. The Dunkin' Donuts Center is full of people that are interested in what I have to say. That's fucking cool. So it's not dead, and it's not about getting hundreds of thousands or millions of views to me. And I think what I've seen, at least, and this Discord thing's been up for a couple of days, and Patreon's been up for a couple of days. But seeing the people that are interested and engaged, I'd rather have that group of 800 or 1,000 people than any number of subscribers, because it's just, I don't know. To me, that's a lot more powerful of a platform. So, trying to get, in terms of keeping people engaged, you can always bring stuff back to things that are relatable. I think inherently people that are interested in sneakers and clothing, given that reselling is a given for our culture, it kind of, reselling for a lot of people is like their introduction into business anyway. So, it's only natural to kind of level up. I mean, I started with sneakers, then I got into reselling watches, started reselling artwork, and then I got into real estate. You know what I mean? So all the things that I've learned built on each other, and that took a long time, but the skills are still relevant. So, do I have property management? No, I manage all my properties myself. How do you gain access to the Discord? One sec, I will give you guys access to the Discord. Oops, let's invite people. Now for this, the link I'm dropping in here for Discord, that's just like a general one. The Patreon refreshes tomorrow, so if you're interested in, it's kind of like the one-on-one consulting, you can do that. But there's a lot of good shit in the Discord anyway. So it's better to pay for a house straight cash or take out a mortgage. Take out a mortgage. Mortgage rates are really low. When our parents were buying houses in the 90s and 80s, interest rates were 8 to 9%. They're 3 to 4 right now. So already, we're not having to be indentured to a mortgage as much as our parents were. So, burning cash, there's really no reason to pay full cash. Now, if you paid full cash on a single family and you wanted to pull out like a HELOC, like a home equity line of credit, that maybe makes sense, but you really have to understand how you're going to leverage your money and have a really plan. That'd be some more, like, I guess, advanced financial planning. I mean, my buddy has his house paid off, and we've talked about some things he could do with it. So, yeah. So, Anthony, if you're not seeing all the channels in the Discord right now, the Discord stuff is, some of the channels are public, and then everything else is through the Patreon. So that's it. The thing with Amazon affiliate, dude, yeah, I gotta settle today. It's crazy because I know people that work at actual Amazon, but like the company's so disconnected, it's really difficult. So yeah, I figured that out. So hours a month I spent managing properties. It's a good question. On a good month, maybe 8 hours. On a bad month, I mean, right now I'm renovating 2 apartments, so I'm spending probably like 10 hours a week doing that. It just depends. So, wall art's from Timothy Curtis. Do you think fashion helps someone get girls, or is it not going to do much? I don't know. I mean, I think fashion's an expression of self. So if you're wearing things that are an expression of yourself, it's kind of like a way to outwardly say something about yourself, which may or may not get you a girl, but it is what it is. Would I invest in stocks now? It's hard to say. I mean, there's some pretty strong bull and bear opinions on things right now. So I would just say read through everything and not pick a side, It's kind of funny what's going on when you have 30 million Americans unemployed, but the stock market's going up. So yeah, no, the eBay jig I put in the normal one. You just gotta scroll through it. Amazon FBA, a private label. I have not personally done that. So let me just switch over to one of the questions that I had over here. Someone was asking about Goyard. I don't know if you guys remember when I was selling Goyard under retail. That is never going to happen again. There was a small loophole around. I don't even know if I should explain what the loophole was. There was a loophole with Goyard boutiques within Saks stores in New York City that was exploited, not by me, but I was able to get a lot of Goyard all at once, legitimately, and just kind of move it that way. So, is it possible to get a house without proof of income, proof of job? No, you can't get on a mortgage if you're unemployed. They won't approve it. It's too much risk. Now, you could have someone co-sign your loan. If you're doing something that's kind of like in a gray area of making money, there's tons of ways to kind of legitimize your income. But I'm not really Breaking Bad on my Discord right now. So yeah, the reselling section, Rodrizi, if you can't see it, it's because you're not in the Patreon thing, so you're not gonna be able to see it. So if you want to do that tomorrow, you can do the Patreon thing. That'll give you all access to all the channels on Patreon. But if you want to just fuck around in the normal ones, you can. There's still great stuff there. So yeah, I'm not, again, if you rewatch the live chat from the beginning, I kind of gave a better explanation on why Patreon. So Johnny, right now I own 3 homes, and I think that's going to be I'm going to be pretty good for a while with those 3 homes. And I'm also kind of explain modeling for a home versus retirement and how that might make sense. So would you credit a lot of your success in business to Babson? Simon, I'd say Babson is pretty important for me, but I would say after like the first 2 years at Babson, where I really they kind of just dunk you into all kinds of business stuff and learning the fundamentals. I think after that, I was like just ready to start practicing, So a lot of the stuff that I know how to do is from actually doing it, not in the classroom. But I'd be lying if I said the classroom didn't help in giving me like a foundation to build upon. So recent cops right now. I've been posting everything I've been buying on the YouTube channel. If you want to look back at that, I don't think there's anything that has come in recently that I haven't posted a video on. So it's interesting. Any tips for beginners into affiliate marketing? Yeah, I can really, again, this is stuff where it's like, I could give you a short 2-sentence answer, but are you really going to be pointed in the right direction for it? I mean, affiliate marketing, I love niche content websites. There's a whole thing about, niche content websites and publishing content and having it sink into Google so it crawls, and then you start, making affiliate money from being kind of the first site to get hit because you're in such a very specific niche. I would say just start small and pick a niche where no one's doing. I mean, it's hard to believe, but like when I started Kicks Our Costs, no one was really doing that, and even less people were doing clothing. If you remember Kicksteals, I think owned Streetwear Deals. They stopped posting a long time ago. I don't know why, but anyway, Nike Swoosh kind of got to be connected to Nike Friends or Family. For home foreclosures, you could do Zoom.com. I just typed it in there for you, but you're not going to really see any foreclosures for a while because there's forbearance appearances on mortgages. Yeah, no, Kicksteals is still going strong, but they had Streetwear Deals, which is gone. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Someone also asked, so this was a longer question, but they said being and their at is TTT on Discord. With you being self-employed, what kind of reporting metrics do you run and focus on to grow your business? He has a small thrift page and feels like he dives too deep into the numbers using things I learned at work and school. I know marketing is a big part of business growth, but I understand trends and numbers are important too. Yeah, I mean, trends and numbers are super important. I'm making decisions based on real-time data that I get back when posting deals, that sort of thing. I'm working on a video right now breaking down credit card skins when that girl posted it randomly on TikTok and it got over 1 million views, how my business partner and I tweaked our advertising budget to start capturing more sales, given some things that we noticed about the video. So, you know, the data is really everything. And I'd be lying if I said I was a data analytics expert. You know, there's people that are really great at doing that thing. My business partner actually works at Google, so that's great. But yeah, I mean, the bad answer is the numbers depend. You know, small business owners, we understand what kind of metrics are vital to our business, and once we can kind of start figuring out cause and effect, you know, that's where you can really start refining some stuff. So, please explain why Trump will quite convincingly, I'm assuming you say win in this election. I don't know, man. It's tough. I'm very I'm very disappointed with the American political system right now, and the two-party system. I think that's not a good thing. I think a lot of people might think I'm like very, very liberal or very democratic, but I'm a lot more. I'm not really happy with the government at all. I don't think government shouldn't exist, but I think they're just, you know, they're one and the same. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are all friends, making tons of money and trying to have things be black and white. So it's a lot easier for their constituents to argue points that don't really matter. So, favorite gaming console, Xbox. Always been an Xbox dude. I don't know why. I mean, I had a Dreamcast. That's probably why. I had a Dreamcast and then that stopped. So we got an Xbox. Like, it was probably on sale or something. So, best place to buy and sell watches depends. I mean, Crown Caliber is okay. I would say wherever you don't have to pay tax. So, the AR company is doing great. We just took some investment. I can't really talk about a lot of this. I have no idea what I can and can't talk about with the augmented reality company in Chicago, but it's going well. And the guys we have working there are amazingly talented and thoughtful and great. So I'm really fortunate to have that team helping, because, you know, the business right now is a little bit past my technical skill set. So, what advice would you give to my 20-year-old self? Huh. That's a good question. Buy Bitcoin. Buy more Bitcoin. That's what I would have told my 20-year-old self. I think if I could do, it's hard, right? Because I obviously, hindsight's 2020. The biggest thing I've seen with business being successful is like how much, you know, everything takes time. So even if you can commit yourself a little bit to an idea you have right now and start working on it right now, that's your biggest advantage, because you have all that time, you know, that those ideas can just get bigger, right? Like, the more you put off starting something, the less time you have to make it bigger. If that makes any sense. I'm sure there's a better way to say that. So, oh yeah, someone asked me what the best thing I ever found thrifting. So there's a couple things, because the most expensive thing I ever found thrifting was a Montclair jacket, and it still had the tags in it from Barney's. It was at some random ass thrift store in Boston, and I sold it to my buddy for like $300. So I didn't really make a killing from that. And to be honest, I didn't really know what Montclair was at the time, so I probably could have sold that for a G. That was a really good thing I found. The best thing I found a Herman Miller chair that was great, and I use that in my office every day. But, you know, thrifting's fun, man. I mean, I've come up on all the different kinds of stuff. So, options trading, I'm currently not option trading, so it's not doing anything. Drew, if you want to play me in Pokemon Showdown, we can do a random battle, and I might slap you depending on what Pokemon I get. Identify investment property you are flipping. How much determine the value price? Yeah, so Adam, there's a book called Literally Flip, and that gets into a lot more detail. I don't flip any houses. That's not to say I won't, but I'm currently not doing that. So, yes, I'm still running Come Up Store. Should I buy a new 2020 car this year? Keep the one I have now. It's 2016 with 1.5 years. I would just pay off your car, dude. That's one less bill you got to do. You know, unless you really are making money like that, or you can finagle it so your business is writing down your car payment. Do that. So, yeah, I plan on speaking at Babson in the future. You know, I did a bunch of. I was at Babson a bunch. I've been invited back to speak a ton of times, but, you know, it's hard to say what college is going to look like in the future. So, um, big changes you see after coronavirus is gone. It's tough because personally about coronavirus, I have some reservations about how we're handling it. I'm concerned that we're kind of setting ourselves up for the next wave of a virus to be that much more worse. It's a tricky thing because you don't want to see anyone lose their lives. It's also hard to kind of imagine when cause I was reading a lot about the Spanish flu and some of the other kind of like historic and really terrible things that have plagued people. And there's a talk about like it's important to have some sort of herd immunity, and I think in isolating ourselves, we're kind of we're maybe setting ourselves up to be hurt even more so in the future. Now, there's also data coming out that's saying way more people than they originally thought have come in contact with the virus and are healthy, but it's too early to kind of really know for sure what the future is going to look like. I think in the meantime, it's okay that we're taking it as seriously uh, but I can't wear a mask outside in the store for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that. So we'll see what happens, man. It's tough. So how am I so good at Warzone? I'm not. I just had to get carried by some really good guys. Now I'm all right. Winning Warzone's about good call outs and then whether or not you have the high ground in the final circle. To be honest, that's really what decides it. Do you have a real estate full time now, or do you have a job? No, well, I'm technically self-employed by my S corp, which is a pass-through entity. So I guess I'm employed by under cost. Um, but no, real estate is not my full-time job. No. Nintendo Switches, best way to get one: go online at 5 a.m. at Target, check the stores that have it, show up at the beginning. Isaiah, I read about the crypto. I'm out of crypto ever since the United States government started taxing it. I'm done. So, what happened to Saucony? To be honest, dude, their brand director moved over to Adidas and was working with Kanye West, and now he's over at Nike doing special projects for Jordan. And a lot of the people at Saucony that were kind of pushing the revival of it left. So that's it. Is Providence a good place to jumpstart a career? I think so. I mean, I love Providence. It's awesome. Rents are pretty cheap. You're right near the train to go to Boston or New York. We got an airport here. You're near the water too. A lot of things I like about Portland, Oregon, are very similar to Providence. So I like it. But how many sneakers in my collection? Probably 25 or 30. But for Rolex prices dropping, I'm trying to get some at retail from an AD. So we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, I paid under retail for my Rolexes because it wasn't as big of a deal when I was buying them. So reward credit cards I have, I'll talk about StockX. That's a good thing. I have a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which I don't really use because no one's traveling, but that has some good perk overall, though maybe I might even cancel. Well, it's hard to say if I'll cancel it or not. And then I have a Bank of America Preferred Rewards card that I kind of jig to get like 3% cash back, which is really good. So don't know what Goro is. You can link me to it. What's happening with StockX is confusing, to say the least. I mean, the stuff about keeping their stuff open, like, that was a mistake. Now, like, I have a lot of friends at StockX, and I do like the platform. I will say one of the things that was very concerning to me when I visited, and I didn't really interview for a job, but Dan Gilbert kind of like low key controls the city. Like, for instance, I remember they have like normal police, but then like he has his own police that like are monitoring stuff in the city. It's hard to explain. I'll have to look it up exactly, but like I remember like learning that, and I was in the physical room where they were like doing the monitoring of stuff, and I was like, man, this is like RoboCop, where if you ever seen a RoboCop movie, it's a big corporation in the city kind of like owns the police there. Very weird. Um, so I'm assuming, with them staying open, I don't really have details on whether or not they stayed open during quarantine, or the whatever order was there. But time to kind of have that news come out and then also hike the buyers 3%, and then also lay people off despite raising, their margins. But, I think they were getting ready to IPO and they've kind of pulled back from it. And in the short term, it's going to look nice for them to cut costs and bolster profits. Because at the end of the day, with an IPO, no one gives a fuck about regular people. They just care about making money. And it honestly doesn't matter. Look at some of the companies that are being traded right now, so highly, like Amazon's being traded very highly. They circumnavigate all the ways they can possibly be a good employer to the people that they employ, and just generally don't give a fuck about any of the people there. So it is what it is. Future of clothing retailers. I don't know. I'll have to do a whole video on that. It's hard. What's my dream car? Well, I really like my RS7. I'd love to have an R8, but I don't even have a garage, so that's tough. I think I'm going to trade the RS7 in for a TTRS, and then if I have a really good year and I can get my TTRS under my business, I might get an R8. So we'll see what happens. Datejust is okay. It depends which one you want. The fluted bezel one with white gold, I think, is a little difficult to get, but you can get Datejust cheap depending on what model it is. Just make sure that you don't buy it with non-Rolex diamonds in it. That you'll get fucked on that. You will never see your money back. And the people that, if you buy one that someone already put diamonds in, it's terrible. So check out my video on watch this before you buy a Rolex. Anyway, do I wear Johnny Cupcakes? Not so much, but I still talk to Johnny all the time. So is it a good time to buy a Rolex? If so, from where? Under 10K? I would say figure out if there's an authorized dealer near you and put in a waiting list for one of their Jubilee bracelet things. So what up, Tim? Good to see you, homie. I hope you're doing well too, man. Thanks for dropping. Well, I know you're doing well. I've been following what you got going on. That's awesome. Interesting consumer buying trends I've noticed. One of the things I've noticed that might be interesting is obviously home gym sales have gone way up. And I wonder if after things open up, if gyms won't see a pretty significant decline in membership. That'd be interesting. So I have seen the movie Uncut Gems. I enjoyed it. It was hard to watch because I knew it was going to be like, you could tell it's going to be nothing good is going to happen for this guy. So it was hard for me to watch personally. So let me just pop into maybe 40 minutes or so. Just make sure I didn't meet anything. Let me see here. DM me. Yeah, see, you guys it's awesome because like people are like connecting, and then the networking thing. I go to the networking feed and just scroll because there's people doing cool stuff. So most arrogant YouTuber, dude, to be 100% honest with you, and this is not a diss to anyone. I deadass have not watched. I don't think I've watched a sneaker YouTube video in maybe 2 years. And a lot of I'm friends with a lot of these guys, and I genuinely like them as people, but I don't consume their content. That doesn't mean I don't like them, but the Discord's gonna be dope, man. The Patreon's gonna be dope. I really do think that we're gonna be getting into some pretty amazing stuff in terms of community building, and that's really what YouTube's always been. I keep saying people forget, but maybe some people remember. I mean, I started doing YouTube in my dorm room. Well, not even my dorm room, in my friend's basement, reviewing Jordans I bought at the mall because where I lived, no one was really talking about it. And then I put up a video and 100 people would watch it and we talk about sneakers. It was a community thing. It wasn't a money making thing. And I was making videos back when, I used to hate sneaker YouTubers who were taking fake sites and they get the replica shoe, 3 months early, but pretend it's real. And, I never got caught up in the money of it, in the likes and that kind of stuff. And could I probably have made the channel a lot bigger? Yeah, but I'm not really a character. I'm not playing a character when I'm making YouTube videos, which makes it less entertaining. So it is what it is. But there's still, there's some guys that are making really positive content and building their own, communities in different ways. It's just, I personally don't relate to a lot of the stuff that's going on, so I just have chosen not to participate in it. But that doesn't mean that what people are doing is wrong, or the people that enjoy it are wrong for enjoying it. So, hey Jacob, you want to roll Call of Duty soon, dude? Yeah, I was about. You probably texted me, boys. So I'm gonna probably run Call of Duty with Jacob. Listen, guys, check out the Discord for real. And if you're serious about the Patreon, you've been watching my stuff for 10 years or whatever it is, and you want to get more involved and just see what's going on, it's $5. The videos are still going to pass through to YouTube. I'm not putting my content like that behind a paywall, but if you want to be in a collaborative space, and you're thinking about different things, and want some advice, it's it's a pretty good thing. So reward credits cards I already answered. Joseph, I answered probably 5 minutes ago if you missed it. So TikTok, man, it's crazy. Have I ever seen Jacob Keller with his hair fully grown? I think so. I don't know. But yeah, he just got an awesome little complex article. I'm assuming that was, I don't know where that came from, but whatever. Anyway, I am ending the stream, and like I said, I will gladly take any webcam recommendations, and then I gotta relearn how to do the Elgato stuff. It's been so long, man, but I haven't had the time. I haven't had the time, and if we're gonna be indoors till December, I'm gonna make the most of it, and that's really the whole spirit behind the in this economy thing that we're doing. We can't really change how things are going. In terms of big picture policy stuff, but we can definitely make a positive impact with the things that we can control. So that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I will post this. I will post this stream. I don't know how it gets posted, but I will. I'm not going to delete it. So we'll figure it out. All right. I am getting off right now. No, actually right now.